Filmmaker Ang Lee is here. For the past 8 years, he has become a cinematic force, exploring family dynamics and social conventions with such films as The Wedding Banquet, Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, Sense and Sensibility, and The Ice Storm. Here is a brief look at his career.
Did you see him? He expressed himself well, did he not?
With great decorum and honour.
And spirit and wit and feeling.
And economy. 10 words at most.
And he is to come tomorrow.
Marianne, you must change. You will catch a cold.
What care I for colds when there is such a man?
Okay, now you. I, we.
Oui, oui.
That you, we, Tang.
Oui, oui.
Okay. To be my wedded husband. To have and to hold.
Holding to have husband of my...
For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer.
Better and richer.
So let's do it right. And Wendy, why don't you say grace? You still love to say grace, remember?
Dear Lord, thank you for this Thanksgiving holiday.
Why, you little Dutch son of a bitch. You do what I tell you or I'll kill you. And when you figure to do this mean thing to me, Maxson, is this very moment convenient for you? It is for me.
青豆虾仁儿、五柳鸡丝，这是你最爱喝的五花排骨粥。做的不多，怕你吃不完。来吧，趁热吃吧。啊！
That's great.
It's a great collection.
It is a great collection.
Thank you.
Well, thank people who work here. In his latest film, Lee returns to his native China with his first martial arts film, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I'm pleased to have Ang Lee back at this table. Welcome back. It's great to have you back.
Yes.
Tell me what this is about and why this story for you, and then tell me what's the story.
I know somewhere in my career I want to do a martial art film. This is a childhood, boyhood rather.
Yeah.
It's a dream come true. Of course, I need the right material so I can have the excuse to do that.
Yeah, right.
That means metaphor, drama, and social commentary, whatever the adult world that I have to bring in to make a sophisticated, all roundabout emotional tour kind of martial art films. So in 1994, I read the novel. I thought it's by the same name. I thought it's time. And meanwhile, I went ahead and make those three English language films. I think that's the kind of skill I will require because I didn't grow up as an acrobat, as a choreographer, like how those films were made. The filmmakers are. So I did 3 movies, including 1 war pictures. And now I think after 6 movies, I'm ready to learn how to make this kind of movie. So I jumped in. I know I always wanted to do it, but my way of interpreting what martial art film should be.
What is it about martial arts films that was so?
I think it's a exhilarating kind of filmmaking, and also expression from a very repressed society. It's a fantasy tale that should capture the public imagination about power, about adventure, about self-transcendence through practicing martial art, in which that by reducing inner conflict and physical tensions, you transcend to somewhere that you have bigger power and enlightenment, and go to eternity and peacefulness. So that's all very intriguing. Well, somewhere there you have to deal with morality issues. So this is a very populist kind of filmmaking. That's a movie experience for me.
Do you have any aspirations to make a big budget Hollywood movie?
Not exactly aspiration, but I will say out of curiosity.
Yeah, exactly.
To see what it's like.
Well,
I don't think I know Hollywood.
Well, then let's go down the line. How about a musical?
I think I'm going to do that next.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Can you tell us or not?
I'm still working on the script with James Shemus, who has been here too.
That's right.
It'll be a smaller musical, singing kind of thing, but a romantic comedy. It's a time I did 3 tragedies.
A romantic comedy with music.
With music.
Yeah. All right.
Sort of Lubitsch-like thing.
All right, take a look at this. This is a scene from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Here it is.
可他为什么把这把剑给了贝勒爷呢？
说多了，你也不懂。
于姐是使剑的吧？
我使双刀，剑法我略通一二。 李慕白的武当玄拼剑法，真是得用这把剑才行啊。
The actresses, the older actress is Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh.
And the other is at Beijing.
Zhang Ziyi, yeah, she was a 19-year-old, third-year drama school student in Beijing.
She's a real sensation over there, isn't she?
Yeah, pretty sensation. Yeah. She's a hidden dragon.
The decision to use not to use English, to use
Chinese.
Yeah.
With subtitle here.
Yeah. Was it easy? I mean, there was no way you would have done it otherwise, or did you have some ambivalence about it?
No, I always know. I want to make a Chinese language film. It was that simple. It's personal. To me, if this childhood dream to come true, if I do it in English, it would be like watching John Wayne speaking Chinese in Western. That's a personal reason.
Yeah.
And also the talent pool, such as the actresses, will be limited to only English-speaking but Chinese-looking actors. That'll be smaller than the whole talent pool.
You might not be able to have the same talent pool.
In Asia, yeah.
How was it to shoot in China?
It was tough to pull off a big movie like this. It's a much smaller film industry, and I got used to the American way of filmmaking. Big muscles, and I required production value, then I want a drama, then I want martial art, I want everything with the Chinese kind of budget. So it was tough, but the support is pretty great. I think we're searching for that hidden dragon in our mind, old classic Chinese pictures. So in that, we're very united, and it's not a modern, politically provocative piece. So people are quite friendly and passionate about the project.
Do you
low-key.
Yeah.
You know, I came from Taiwan, and so it's a little sensitive, but, you know, low-key, quietly get the movie done.
Now, did that make a difference that you were from Taiwan?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm quite welcomed and well supported.
How do you find the atmosphere in China today?
It's
much more open than you've ever seen it, or were you surprised it was not as open as you might have perceived it?
It's kind of tricky. It's like a Wild Wild West for me. I think in spirit it's all the way capitalism, but in doctrine it's still communism. It's in a very rapid transition where you just don't know what works, it's pretty crazy to me. It's chaotic, full of chances, and you go crazy, you get really greedy when you're there. You want to do the best with the smallest money. Yeah. That's from where I can see. You take opportunities. Anything seems, well, a yes is not really a yes, a no is not really a no. So it really depends. I cannot tell it's good or bad, but full of chances, a lot of energy. Yeah. But in terms of art creativity, if it's politically inclined, then there's no struggle.
Do you want to work there again?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I don't know what is that yet. I think for fantasy piece like this, it's a very good place to go. But if it's a modern piece, then I don't know.
Okay. Roll tape.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at it and come back and further that. Roll tape. It's an amazing scene. First, I ask you how you do it. It's obviously wires.
Wires, then digitally remove the wires.
Yeah,
but they're actually up there. Yeah.
These had dancing in their experience.
Yes. But it's quite different experience
because
from
of
fighting.
Yeah, as you said to me, in martial arts you pull in, dancing you're reaching out.
Yeah. So they're slow, graceful, but that's not good enough for the gracefulness of martial art fighting scenes. It has more connection with the tradition of Chinese opera acrobats and martial art. It's all about tucking the speed.
Was it hard to shoot?
Oh, yeah. And carry emotion, authentic fighting with the right energy. Just to hit each other on beat is hard enough. And usually it takes about 30 takes to get the idea, to get familiar with it, and acting as if they're not in anticipation. Then maybe 6 more takes of refinement just to get the emotion, so their act is more the development of their relationship and extension of their characters and situations. Usually after 7 takes, they're worn out already.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, was this choreographed by the same guy that did Matrix?
Yeah.
Was his name
He's one of
Yun-
my heroes.
Yun Wo-ping?
Yun Ho-ping. He's the finest choreographer we have there.
One of your heroes.
Yeah, every 10 years he'll do something revolutionary and just everybody will copy him for the next 10 years. I watched him since I was a student. He was a big hero. He made Jackie Chan, he made Jet Li.
How do you work with actors? I mean, are you one of those directors who has huge admiration for actors and think your role is in a sense to, you know, just to make them comfortable so that they can call on their own creative?
I think I like to make them comfortable, but it's also my job to make them uncomfortable. If they're too comfortable, they just do their shtick.
Yeah.
Anticipation, they plan what to do next. Sometimes you gotta take that out and make them behave like it's real. Especially, I think I won't do that to the younger actors, which by giving you what you demand, already they're struggling, they have some innocence to be photographed. That's heart-moving, that's like really heart-wrenching. You don't want to kill that innocence. But for the experienced actors, my job is mostly make them do less and uncomfortable. Particularly like movie like The Ice Storm, for example, the part with Kevin Kline. All my job is to defeat his confidence. Anything he do, I will analyze it. There's something wrong about it, and until he's like, because it's a movie and character about doesn't really know how. It's an adolescent who is playing a father's role. He doesn't know what to do. If he's like totally groove into his act and comfortable and knows what is happening, then it's not good enough.
You want to see uncomfortableness.
Yes.
You want to see some
awkwardness. Yes.
Awkwardness.
No.
Yeah, and that's not.
Gotta break. Gotta break that, especially with movie stars. They not only know acting, they know camera angle, they know everything. They're performing, they give you the best sides. They're like doing interview instead of being observed as a human being in certain conditions. And you have to break that. I think it's important to know all sort of method, but not hold on to any method. Just observe who you get and take it organically and see how you deal with them. Sense the vibes and take it from there. And I also think photographing them is very important. Just capture them. Because after all, film is about, it's cinema, it's photography. You gotta know how to capture them, and so you're getting the signal that you want to shoot to the actors. So photographing, casting, and working with actors, that's all, then finally editing, music, they all help.
Your star here is the same man that worked with Jodie Foster in Anna and the King.
Yes, Joe, in fact.
Yes.
Yeah.
You like him? Is he?
Oh yeah, it's.
What does he bring?
He's like his role here. Him playing that role is like Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven. That's what he does. The image, the status, stately manner, and he's coming of age from a government modern person to play a stately role model, the swordsman hero.
But he's on the back stretch.
But he's dealing with his midlife crisis like I do now. So again, he knows everything. He's a movie star, best actor. I have to breaking at times just to make him not quite knowing what he's doing.
You're dealing with a midlife crisis now?
I think so, physically, because it's so stressful.
Yeah.
This project, it just reminds me.
My
life has been, I have been going forward all the time, and now this time I feel like, wait a minute, the physical, I'm declining, and where does movie go and where does life go?
And what does this do to your confidence?
I feel humbled,
really?
I think, especially making martial art films, mixing with drama in such a big landscape, a new environment. I think it humbled me. Just physically so punishing, emotionally so stretching. And I felt I was searching for that little girl, like Li Mubai. I was dealing with my hidden dragon here. Kind of sort of Freudian way. And so everything just hit. And also I left home for a long time, so everything was biting. And I feel that strange thing that's happening. I don't know how it hits you. I think it hits everybody differently. But it certainly hit me, and I learned to deal with that, and I feel I have to relearn how to make movies.
Relearn how to make movies?
Yeah, I think so. I feel such a novice about filmmaking and in life, you just have to be humble, and nothing you know you can be for certain. You have to keep it flexible, observant, and see how you fit into the natural law and how life is keep changing and how you fit into it. You need a new relation with your film, your job, with your relationships, and also with your own body. You know, you just have to adjust to it. You have to reevaluate life and everything. I mean, it's a very strange tour for me. And also I was looking for the China in China, that I was implying the China in my head. So the whole tour was a little Twilight Zone for me.
Why don't you go home and write a movie based on everything you just told me, and then make that movie? There's the movie for you to make.
We have to embody something, like people flying, like
no, we don't.
heart-wrenching
no,
romance.
we don't. We can just make the movie you just talked about, sort of coming of a certain age, and how, and the experience, and how, you know, it is the creation.
It's liberating. I think.
I do too. I do too. I think it's
you
that.
went through struggle, and think after all, making movie. I think eventually watching movie is about liberating.
Yeah.
It's not about who you are, but what you cannot be. You know, transcendent. Like the last image when the girl is flying down, carried it down. We should be so humble in front of the whatever is 3 feet above our head. Yeah. It's a big unknown.
Yeah. Now, roll another. I want people to see it. One more scene from here. Roll tape. Wow. Let me just cap what we were talking about earlier. I said, is it different? Does the East have a different experience than the West? China versus, say, the United States or Europe. Is there a difference in the way they approach this thing that you and I were talking about in terms of middle age?
I think in philosophy and how we should carry ourselves.
Yeah.
I've been raised in the East and come here and pick my skill in the West. I think to me there's fundamental differences. I think in the West it's more dramatic. It's about asserting your characters. That leads to democracy, of course. It's about your personality, and you raise the conflict through the clash of dramatic effect, whether it's a comedy or tragedy. You purge yourself. That's your transcendent. Yeah. Something bigger, outcry. It makes good story and good movies.
Yeah.
That's why we have to pick it up. Good drama. But I think in the East, it's more about reducing that. It's very anti-dramatic. You see how you fit into the overall natural law, to society. By reducing, you find a focus, and therefore to eternity, transcendent, which is very anti-drama. Of course, we're just human. Every once in a while, we just couldn't hold it anymore. We explode, and things turn absurd, and we try to find a new balance, the new white lights, what have you. So that's the pattern in the East, and I have both of that in me. Yeah. So that also, clashes in the movie, in what I do, in how I deal with life. So it's really a mixture for me.
Let me talk about some colleagues. Jane Shamus. Shamus has been with you in every film, right? Yes?
Yes.
What is this collaboration about? What's the nature of it?
It started on the second movie, because I didn't have him do too much for my first movie. It's a small movie called Pushing Hands. That was a hit in Taiwan, but didn't sell here or anywhere. So he said, let me help you with the second movie. They have his partner, Ted Hope, they have a company called Good Machine. Yeah. They call themselves back then the king of no-budget filmmaking. So that's how they pitched to me, and we would get hooked up and do the movie together. So he helped me in the second script, as Wedding Banquet, and that became an international hit. So over the years, he has been a collaborator to me. Either writing or rewrite the script, sell the movies, produce them. So it's because what he does, he allowed me to do what I do best, which is directing. So he also teaches in Columbia in film theory and history. So he's an academic type too. He's a good salesman and just everything I'm not. He's an excellent writer, and he writes in the way it just work for me. Like in this movie, they fight. I do my fighting. The eyes creep up when I do my things. So the script is not written like a professional script like Hollywood that they write to be read by studio executives. The blueprints for direct. He's very authorish, director-centered kind of producer and writers.
Yeah.
So he provides great materials, and he's practically the best writer I know of.
Wow.
No, personally.
Yeah.
So that even implies on the Chinese, although he doesn't speak or write Chinese, but structurally, storytelling, dramatically, he's a great help.
Today, DVDs are achieving a more and more prominent place in filmmaking. The quality of a DVD film makes the film at home much better. Also, there's so many more elements in a DVD. So you can have director's comments, you can have put back scenes. Does that mean that a director today is more likely to direct a film with one eye on what it would play in this theater and another eye as to what will be the permanent record on DVD?
I think so, but I don't care the non-theatrical part.
You don't care about that?
I don't care. When they ask me to do comment, I grudgingly do it. I think I will bore the audience, I think. And I frame not for DVD or no. I work for the lab, for what is aiming for as a theatrical release. When I sit at home, it's very different experience than to see if you're in big theater.
With great sound, with a lot of other people.
Sound. Yeah, with a lot of people. Like the first fighting scenes at the end, people just, I went through, I never missed one. Everybody applauds and cheers. It's a movie experience. There's a human connections. You don't get that from TV. And electronics still look like electronics, not emotions. It's not celluloid. It doesn't have that crisp, like lively sort of touch. Even though the celluloid is harder to control, the lab, it's harder to control the quality. You lose, quality in generations. But still, so far, I still like projection in celluloid chemistry a lot more than electronics. And there's not quite life yet.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Ang Lee film. Thank you very much. It's great to have you back.
Nice to be back here again.
The movie is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, directed by Ang Lee. Coming up next, an excerpt from my full hour tomorrow night with Peter O'Toole, a Charlie Rose special edition.